courage and energy and ideas and solutions to reach everyone and to get happy. So an entrepreneur should have all this. Shouldn't only have ideas and views. He or she should have complete vision until things come true. When I first time entered Sawy Culture Week, this was from a small hole in the wall that is one of the walls of Abu Feda tunnel or underpath under the bridge. And the first moment I entered from this broken part of the wall, I could see a stage with curtains and lights. The truth was rubbish and everything. I mean, it was a very, very badly used. Okay, this is fun. I'm playing this part actually. Very short. This is Umm Kulthum. Please give Umm Kulthum a hand. This lady can still make people really exceed all emotional levels. I used to say, if you want to design or to come up with calories, emotional calories, you should relate it to Umm Kulthum's songs. I would say سعر عاطفي in Arabic. With Umm Kulthum, you can really have this measure of every minute of Umm Kulthum would give you 10,000 emotional calories or romantic calories. She's great. Back to Sawy Culture Wheel, because I have to sum up, I believe, and receive questions in 10 minutes, 7? Yeah, okay. So we now, alhamdulillah, have 100,000 members. 100,000 members pay a yearly membership fee that is £50 or less. I mean, the maximum in a family would be £50, and then every additional member will be a bit less. But yet, I mean, this sounds how cheap. I mean, £50 a year is even cheaper than any of the youth centers. But still, for us, it's a big amount to cover expenses, and it gives us, more important than the money, it gives us the feel of being strong, because having 100,000 people support you and I mean show you loyalty is something very positive in such an activation. Another thing that would give you a feel of the ratio of how active we are, we produce every year, we say, ألف ليلة وليلة, 1,001 nights every year, because we have 3 halls that work at least once a night, which makes it somewhere above 1,000 nights every year. So over the 10 years, we have delivered, we have produced, we have been able to host altogether more than 10,000 events, alhamdulillah, and this was real contribution to the society. At the beginning, after operating for like 2 or 3 years, I wasn't really, I couldn't understand why do people praise us that much and say this place has done. I was saying, what's so special about this? And I sat down and made some small statistics, and I discovered that this place, this very cheap, I would say, because I mean we have ready ceiling. We haven't spent any money on getting this ceiling. The bridge was there, and it was very inexpensive to have this place adapted and I mean made ready to host and produce and present arts and performances. So the calculation made me realize that we alone, this place, have a contribution of 38% of everything taking place in Egypt. You had only the Cairo Opera House, in addition to 3 more stages that were active, and none of these were doing a full year, 365 days. None of these were doing more than 1 event a night ever. So the truth was, yes, we did size-wise a very big contribution, thanks God, to the Egyptian arts scene. So, and we're very ambitious. We have opened a branch in a school on the Cairo Ismailia Road, and now about to open another branch in Designopolis. For those who know Sheikh Zayed, this is October, the Cairo Alexandria Desert Road. There is a complex with lots of cafes, restaurants, and as well shops, furniture mainly. So they have Roman theater style or type of stage, an open air one. And we are about now to complete this project and start, inshallah, sometime either before Ramadan or in Ramadan this year. I always say I'm very ambitious to have many branches, and my model would be McDonald's, would be Starbucks. You should find around every corner a place offering culture and arts in any simple way, if I may say. I was explaining yesterday, we had a side chat about making a unit on a rooftop, on a house, on a building with 20 or 15 or 10 flats, where you have like 70, 80 people living there, and help them to clear the roof of the 20 or the 10 satellite dishes, make them only one instead, and use the space for a gathering once weekly. Someone of this building would read a book and invite the others to listen to him explaining what this book is about. Another day would be look at some drawings being projected simply on the wall of the stair house. The beer cylinder, is it stair house? Anyway, and a third night would be for the talents of the young kids of this building. A fourth night would be documentary movies or short feature films or whatsoever. But this would do a lot to our nation, to Egypt, and make people realize that culture should become more integrated in their daily lives, and not look at it as the least or the last line of the projected plans for Egypt. I believe if it was up to me, I would put culture on top of the list before solving economical problems or even health issues or even education. Because if you have a cultured nation, people would realize what should come first, how things should be treated. The cultured people would even be more patient and able to visualize the future and see the chances and opportunities and challenges and make things happen in a better way. Without culture, we will always keep struggling and having to face more and more of the always mentioned problems, and we really don't get to solve them. I mean, I don't know, do we have the one sent Yasmin? Have you there? Okay, we have those logos of different years, because again, I want to tell you how we made people interested in what we do, how we made them feel it was important to have core ideas. So the year 2006 we started with اللغة العربية. عام اللغة العربية we called it, and I strongly believe that the identity is based so much on the language of any nation. I'm not there to try to convince anybody that Arabic is better than English, or English should be better than German, or whatever. No, it's not that, but it is. The fact is that the communication, the main tool of communication would remain the language, and if people don't take it serious to strengthen the language of any nation, they will stay behind. They will never deliver something to contribute to the whole world. And it was the year 2006 where we made a lot to make Egyptians really look at the Arabic language rather than consider it, again, one of those very tough issues, and due to the wrong systems in education, the image of Arabic language was destroyed. So I can't see it appear. Do we have them or not? I mean the last ones. Was it our life? Oh, I'm sorry, I haven't seen them. So anyway, the year 2007 we had the year of rights, and this was dangerous because rights at that time were not very welcome, but we managed to do it. We managed to do it, and the year of mines was 2008. Thank you so much. 2000, and we can skip 2 now. Yes, year of rights was 7, and then it came year of mines. And I used to tell people, I only want everyone to realize that nobody is stupid. Nobody is stupid, but only less trained minds. Because one of the major mistakes you would see an Egyptian parent, father or mother, hold the kid at his or her hand and tell people, I don't know what to do with this kid anymore. We tried everything. He's simply stupid, useless. You can do nothing with this kid. I normally tell the guy, please bring a knife and kill him. It's better. I mean, why do you keep such a kid? Kill him and get rid of him and make him, stop suffering of you. I mean, because this is very, very unfair to treat kids like this and say, he's useless, he can do nothing. It's only wrong education, wrong entries to the mind of this kid, but there is always a way, there is always a solution to open anyone's mind. Then we will go please to 2009. It was dignity. Imagine we thought of dignity even before the revolution, and we established on that year what we called Eid al-Karama, the Karama Day or Karama Feast or whatever dignity day. When we asked around and asked our lawyer, and we discovered there is nothing that prohibits you to make your days. If you want to say Eid al-Karama, you can do that without any problem. So we had the whole year issues about dignity. One of them was to protect or to keep the dignity of battlers, of people sitting everywhere on the streets, and the easy way was, or still is, give them money and feel relieved. You've done what you should. This is completely wrong, and I believe that in this era, you should never give anyone on the street, any beggar. I said, what did I say? Bettler? This is German, huh? I'm sorry. Entschuldigung für diejenigen, die Deutsch verstehen. Is there anyone who speaks German in this room? No? Okay. Okay. I'm sorry about that. I used the wrong term. It's the beggars, the shahatin, our poor guys who sit there, and we make sure that they never leave the streets, because we decided to support them there where they sit. We should rather, at this era where you have all this technology, all this ability to design programs and make real information tools to take care of people in need, rather than keep them holding their hand all day or knocking a kid's eye or cut him a leg to use him in the future. I mean, this is one of our major silly things that we keep on doing, and this has created another nation that lives parallel to the original one on the streets, and is encouraging more and more street kids to appear and go out of homes. Much more would come under dignity, but I think we should, I should take you a bit faster. I'm a Noor, light, or we were very much concerned with enlightenment, and culture can be translated directly. If you are asked to use one single word, it will be light, because you have so many definitions for culture, old ones that would take you through the UNESCO ones, starting with the full mix or outcome of mixing knowledge, education, history, traditions, customs, everything you want to name of any society, of any nation, of any group of people. But I mean, also the new ones, the new definitions of culture would take you to the pyramid of values. How do you put or prioritize the values you have? Which is it justice? Is it equality? What comes first? What comes late? So, if it was to be one word, I would say light. To give people enough light to decide for themselves, to see the truth, to see the options, to see the different paths. They may, pick the better one, or the one that they feel is better for them. So the mission of culture is not to take decisions for any nations. It's only to make the right environment for people to live with vision, with ability of taking the right decisions. After that, we went to the year of discovery, 2011, and we were very fortunate, and we felt privileged with the revolution. We tried to say Egyptians discovered themselves, their power, their ability of changing what they felt like changing. So it was a year of discovery. Started with discovering yourself, discovering the real you, and also discovering the chances, opportunities, and so on. So it was, but the revolution I mean, gave us, after 2 months of starting this year or even less, complete deviations, I would say, of the original idea, and we had to adapt accordingly and, I mean, allow or give much more space to political debates and evenings, and we hosted every one of the presidential candidates at that time. Later on, also when the parties were formed, we had many, and we still do today. Actually, it's in Cairo now 4:20. Since 6 hours, we are hosting in the whole space, in all rooms, together with the Swedish organization in Alexandria. We are hosting today what is called حوارات مصرية, Egyptian debates or talks. Is taking place all day long with many, like 15 or more of the parties and many of the prominent media people. Yusuf Huda is running the final one today, but I was keen to come to you. Even when I decided to come, this wasn't yet planned, so I said I will never change my plan. I will do the promised trip to Boston. This is Amal Insat, if you could read it. Al Insat is year of listening. Listening is so important, and we lack listening. We don't listen. We just shout and fight and swear at each other. And, listening is when you think of any food, any source of wisdom, you wouldn't miss listening on top of that list. From listening comes wisdom. And we felt very much that after the big fights that we had, it was time for listening. So we had this year of listening. And finally comes this 2013 with Al-Adab wal-Adab. And the translation is literature for Al-Adab, the first one, or the second, as you will, and education. Al-Adab wal-Adab, and we are doing big and many meetings for making people realize how important literature is, because again, one of the things that we try to convey, one of the messages, would be a bit shocking to ladies in this room when I say no one in this room is younger than 3,000 years of age. Can anyone say I'm younger? I can say no one is younger than 3,000 years of age. Anyone who had enough exposure, had enough abilities to receive human history and resources and read books and go close to various and different views of other people who live. Every book you read is at least adding 20 more years to your life, to your age, but without making you age. So everyone should be proud of being 4,000 or 5,000 years of age, again, without these wrinkles that I already have at my eyes. But again, it is a fact that the good thing about this idea, I always use it to make people realize that nobody is too young to take over, to take responsibilities. Because there are always people who would tell you, he's too young, he's only 26 or 28. But I usually say this is not true. He's 3,026 while I am 3,056. So the difference is only, in this case, 1%. It's not twice as old or twice as experienced. It's only a very small fraction of difference. So literature is very important, and I'm sure I don't need to start talking about the importance of education. It is a very big issue, and I'm sure everyone is concerned with changing the strategies and the policies related to education in Egypt to make sure that the new generations will not be as going one line, one track mind systems as we used to have. So I can close with this and receive the questions. I'm sorry, I don't think I've done a good job, but anyway, I love being with you, and I enjoyed very much looking to your faces, and still think that the hope is great. The chances are very high for Egypt to benefit of all of you, inshallah, in the very soon future. Thank you. If anyone wants marionette playing lessons, I can do that as well. Sure. Good. Yes. Thank you. I will tell you the first sponsor of this place was Sawy. I went to him and sold him the idea by telling him Naguib. I know him from school because he was also a graduate of the German school in Cairo, but Naguib is older than me, like 2,000 years old. So, Naguib, I told him, Naguib, we need to work on culture. We have to change the mindset of people, because very soon you will not be able to walk on the streets with your kids safely. This was the year 2002, 2 months or 3 months before we operated officially. And he issued a check within 2 hours after this meeting, because he was convinced it was needed to work on the mindset of people and make them realize how important it was to have diversity, to have tolerance, to have all these missing, not only terms, but missing. Unfortunately, those really believe in diversity, and we are trying very strongly behind this. It's not only sponsors, we have also entry tickets, so we sell tickets. We could even sell tickets to poetry nights. EgyptNEGMA was surprised when I told him we shall sell tickets, because he requested money. So I told him, Mr. Negma, we cannot afford giving you money without selling tickets. So he said, fine with me if you want, but are you sure people will pay for poetry? I told him, I'm sure they will. And it was always full house, even at £10 ticket rate, but it was good enough to pay him what he requested. We have also this source of membership. It comes up to £3.5 million a year now, and is, alhamdulillah, going higher. Additionally, we do lots of classes, which is music and visual arts of all kinds, all day. I mean, all day. So we have now, I can say, reached the stage where we are self-financing the place with this, the 3 important pillars of sponsorship, entry tickets, and membership. It's doing fine, alhamdulillah. We believe the future can only make it better and better. And when we talk to companies and new sponsors, it is going well. But again, every sponsor is welcome if you know someone to give us a hand, to open more branches, inshallah.
mic. Just walk up to it. Walk up to the microphone.
Since you are saying nice words, please use the microphone.
Okay, so thank you for coming over all these lessons together. For me to last time say about this So just after being with your own culture board for about 10 years right now, and from the statistical analysis and when you came to attend all your activities, how do you see the vision of the culture and education vision among the Egyptian population? Do you think that it's an optimistic vision? Okay. I hate to say the other, but I feel that, there is, as you mentioned by the end of the talk, that it's, there's a hope, but do you feel that people start to think cultural-wise and education-wise?
May I express it differently, what you just said? Are there fears of this religious shade that is appearing in the sky?
Personally,
is this what
in that position to fear about it.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm not asking about you personally, but people think.
I just mean that how do you think about culture and education right now? Okay, since we came here to these countries, we feel that education and culture is very important aspects, and our kids are learning that right now. So, and we learn that spend time to get involved in what's going on here. So, just I need to know what do you feel about Egyptian population over there from the various countries you are discussing with you?
Thank you. I would make it very clear. I would tell you that I meet many people who come to me and say, don't you know that music is haram? Is haram, what is haram? Is against religion. So I usually reply by saying there are so many different views and tafsir and readings on that, and it was never clearly said al-musiqa haram. It wasn't ever the case. So please give us this space of offering what we feel is healthy and is clean. It's not about, we're not there presenting the bad words or the cheap songs being played now everywhere in tuk-tuks. Tuk-tuk has become a radio station. You can listen to the worst ever words you could imagine being sung on ridiculous instruments. The small unit tuk-tuk is stronger powered than the biggest stage in our place. So I believe what we produce, what we welcome, what we give space to is healthy and is good for the society. Some people would also say, you allow men and women to sit together in mixed chairs. You shouldn't do that. Again, with patience, you can overcome such conservative, if I want to express it nicely without any negative expressions. So you can, but with fights, you will never achieve anything. With telling people, go away, you are stupid, you don't understand anything, this is totally wrong. And we are patient, and we shall remain patient and respect every critic, every word, every idea. And I think doing this will make the others, and this is our real experience so far. None of the existing parties, the big ones, ever attacked Sawy culture wheel clearly. We have been appreciated by everyone so far, alhamdulillah, and we really think we are holding this flag of enlightenment and taking people towards freedom of expression more and more without touching the Egyptian traditions or giving anyone hard time of any kind. So I still believe we should be very optimistic, and inshallah we will make it and convince everyone that it is healthy to have different views and different ways of living. Yeah. I will tell you to give short answers. Yeah. It's not their fault, it's mine. Okay, so. Alaikum salam.
Firstly, I would like to thank you for your inspiring work and your achievements so far. My main question is, when you started establishing the cultural wheel, have you reached or received any resistance from the community, especially key Egyptian officials, government, people who are just really important in Egypt? How have you, if there was resistance in establishing it, how have you overcome that barrier and those challenges?
The thing is, I didn't really take you through this story, but we have once received closing instructions was led by the police. This was when I started writing articles for the press. They found me attacking the police several times at Mubarak's time. So they sent us a group of people to prove that the place was dangerous and wasn't equipped enough for any fires or whatever. Although this wasn't true at all, we have 6 exits for emergency. We have no source at all of fire. It's the only place in Egypt. I mean, this was one of our prides at the Era Bayda. The white circle stands for proud to be a non-smoker, and we don't have any smoking area in Sawy culture wheel, not even at the riverside or in the garden. Outdoors, indoors, everything is no fire at all. But it was meant to close the place, and they went so far as to send us an official letter from the head of the prince, how do you call it, Hayy Zamalek, the local authority of Gharb al-Qahira, the district of West Cairo, and I neglected this letter completely, and I sent a letter to Habib al-Adli, the very strong minister of interior at that time, and I told him هناك من يتربص بالفكر والثقافة ويسعى لإغلاق الساقية. أرجو التأكد بنفسك من وقف هذه المحاولة. I was giving Habib al-Adli instructions, but I never received any reply, and this letter wasn't resent ever, alhamdulillah, and we kept on operating throughout. And I said, when it comes to, they send us people to close it, then in this case only we will be closed, but alhamdulillah they never did.
It's very important to have culture in Egypt, but more important to have a culture outside Egypt. I traveled all over the US, and he said to Egypt, and I hear the younger generations, Egypt Arab, Egypt has a lot of corruption. Egypt, nobody knows nothing about Egypt. Even the TV channels now, nobody even want to prescribe. I think it's very important to tell you what you have in Egypt and make a tour. United States, Canada, Europe. We need it for Egyptian and non-Egyptian to remember that we have a culture and a culture.
Thank you so much. I can promise you that we took Kulthum once to Germany, so why not have her tour America? Maybe could be a good idea, and I really respect your idea, and maybe you together, before we leave this conference, make a group of people interested and form an Egyptian cultural center, even virtually, and then it can have touring bands or groups or whatsoever. We will be honored to join you whenever you think this will be ready, inshallah. Thank you. That was it. باي باي.
Wow, what a great opening of the day. So actually we have a really exciting session coming up, which is the pitching for the 10 finalists for the Impact Egypt competition. So we're going to start exactly in 5 minutes. That's 10:45. So if you don't, I would ask you not to stand up, but I don't want to force anyone. So we're starting in 5 minutes exactly.
Okay. ثانية واحدة. Video manager. I don't know. أعرف إزاي. How do I know?
refresh الwebsite.
الويب سايت بتاعنا.
Okay. It's the Educate Me is on one of those, so we need to find out which one it's on.
Okay. I found the Alexandria one.
Okay, so we have that. Educate Me is on definitely on one
Okay,
of those.
this
And
one
we're-
is only Grub, not this one. Sorry, Madden.
Okay, Method's fine. Gabra is
No,
correct.
Madden is good.
Okay, I'm working on that.
Okay. That's all.
Let me know on that, and I'll be.
It's working.
Wow, look. If you click هنا شغال. أنت قفلته؟ Why?
علشان اظبط الزوم واظبط الريزولوشن.
ما الصوت خلاص شغال خلاص جول. مش مهم الصورة خالص، الصورة دي الكاميرا وحشة، هي الصورة هتفضل وحشة، المهم الصوت حلو، فلو حد بيفتح هيبقى بيسمع. You don't have to see. الريزولوشن بتاعتي وحشة قوي.
ايوه
مش
انا
هتشتغل.
هحاول اظبطها على قد ما اقدر لانها تتظبط اكتر.
هتتظبط؟ كويس ان انت حاسس انها بتتظبط.
ايوه اهم حاجه
الكاميرا اصلا مش عامله ازاي
الريزولوشن بتاعها
يا عشان ما عملت
لا لا
على
الريزولوشن
الاقل
بتاعها
ممكن
وحش.
نعمل زوم.
انا معايا
زوم ان
معاك لا
لكن مش مكان
What are you showing?
اهو
ممكن اللابتوب بتاعك عشان
لازم اظبط.
Yeah, I have an email to this, but I
طيب خليني اخلص
Gmail for me.
one screen.
جيميل
وان سكرين كمان علشان كده انا عايز
اوكي لا ما ينفعش تنقل عشان الصوت.
ليه الصوت سجلوه على الديفايس على الديفايس
ده الصوت دوت جاي لك من هنا، ده اللي بيدخل صوت حلو للفيديو.
طيب دلوقتي انا عايز يعني انا ممكن لو قربت ممكن تديك صوت كويس. ثانيا انا عايزين نجرب الصوت، عايزين نجرب الفيديو اللي احنا
دي مش
سجلناه.
هتجيب صوت كويس انا عشان احنا ما بنعرفش ناخد صوت من دي اصلا.
لا
يو هاف ا تشويس، يا الا تاخد صوت من الكمبيوتر بنقول له، يا الا من ده اللي هو حلو، لكن ما عندناش واصله ما بين ده والكمبيوتر.
هو ده مهم.
ده مايك محتاج تدي صوت اللي اخد المايك ده وديه للكمبيوتر. يو هاف تو ايوه عايزين واصله.
الوصلة عندي في البيت محدش يقول لي ليه.
وانا كمان عندي نفس الوصله.
Okay, it's
لا بس for the secret
okay. Did you put that one?
Okay. بصي في حاجات هنا check the things we have on the computer. Minimize that one.
Yeah, we got it. We just wasn't looking for one.
واحد مش لاقيينه
Two, technically.
هنا.
trying to get audio.
في حالة واحدة عندي حالة واحدة.
كله موجود بس هي مدد and you hit me I can find
Yes. I will. Just one second.
أيوة هي نجمة educate me.
well,
We already have it.
Yes, we already have it.
for the secret this one is connected to the camera.
أيوة هي نجمة educate me.
Software output via USB. You see that come up? There is a USB connected that only the transfer video, no audio. Yeah, that's why they have like that limited. It is. They should. I mean, let me actually.
Yes, baby.